with Buzz Town Radio.
Hutchins.
Buzz Town Radio. Buzz Town Radio. Buzz Town Radio.
Good afternoon, welcome along to Soul on Saturday here on Buzzdown Radio. I'm Bob Hutchins, I'll be with you until 4 o'clock playing some great soul, northern soul and Motown tunes to you. Also, before we start, just want to say good afternoon to listeners of Keep the Faith Internet Radio who are taking this Buzzdown Radio show this afternoon. We're going to kick off straight away because a lot of great tunes to get through, and we're going to start with Rex Garvin and the Mighty Groovers, Sock It To 'Em JB, Part 1.
Are you ready for this? I told you it was coming. JB, and he's ready.
Getting us underway this afternoon, that was Rex Garvin and the Mighty Cravers and Sock It To 'Em JB Part 1. It had Part 2 on the B-side, released by Light Records in the United States in May of 1966, produced by Jesse Johnson and William Shepard, composed by Clayton Dunn, Pete Holman and Rex Garvin himself. Both Billboard and Record World magazines reviewed it on the 28th of May, and the UK edition was released on the 12th of August 1966 on Atlantic Records. This is Buzztown Radio. Welcome along. Here's Jackie Ross, Dynamite Lovin'. Jackie Ross here on Buzzdown Radio and Dynamite Lovin', which was the B-side to You Really Know How to Hurt a Girl. Came out on Chess Records in May of 1965, arranged by Charles Handy, composed and produced by Carl Smith and Reynard Miner. Billboard magazine reviewed it 29th of May. There was no UK issue of that record. You're listening to
Bob Hutchins on Buzz Town Radio.
So many years ago now, but you were born on this day. It's a happy birthday to you from Buzz Town Radio.
So, of course, every week in our one, we celebrate the birthdays of anyone associated with the soul scene. And we've just got the one today, and in our two, we remember anyone that passed on this day. We haven't got anyone this week for our two, but our born on this day, 27th of September, 1947, American musician, singer, songwriter, record producer and actor Marvin Lee Aday, better known as Meatloaf. His record-breaking 1978 album Bat Out of Hell spent 457 weeks on the UK album chart. His Bat Out of Hell trilogy of albums consisting of Bat Out of Hell and Bat Out of Hell 2, Back Into Hell and Back Out of Hell 3, The Monster is Loose, has sold more than 50 million copies worldwide. Meatloaf has also appeared in over 50 movies and television shows, and sadly we lost him on the 20th of January at the age of 74. Now I know what you're wondering, what on earth has that got to do with soul music? Ah, well, you see, Meatloaf used to be duet partner with Shawn Murphy, that's a girl, who was better known as Stoney. They released one self-titled album in 1971, and Meatloaf and Murphy had met previously in the Detroit music scene and then performed with the Detroit cast of Hair. Meatloaf, whose name was styled Meatloaf, one word, on the album, had a minor hit with What You See Is What You Get. What record label am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Motown, of course. Here's Stoney and Meatloaf, Lady Be Mine. Stoney and Meatloaf here on Buzzdown Radio, and Lady Be Mine, which was the B-side to What You See Is What You Get, released on Motown's Rare Earth label on the 14th of April 1971. Produced by Mike Vivano, Ralph Tarana and Russ Tarana. It was arranged by David Vanderpetit and composed by Mike Campbell and Ray Manette. Billboard magazine reviewed it on the 1st of May 1971. There was no UK issue. I'd like to say good afternoon to Ted Jackson down in Hornchurch. Also got Woozle on. It's morning for Woozle. She gets up later. Well, we can do that, you see, as pensioners. It's we don't have to stick to the morning, afternoon, evening bit. We can create whichever part of the day we want. So hello to Woozle, aka Lindy, down there in Arundel, West Sussex. Beautiful part of the world. You're listening to
Buzztown Radio. Buzztown Radio. Buzztown Radio.
Woke up this morning, yeah.
This is Sam Hawkins and Hold On Baby. The Faith Internet Radio. That was Sam Hawkins and Hold On Baby, released on Blue Cat Records in April of 1965. Produced by Jeff Barry, the arranger was Artie Butler, and it was composed by Ellie Greenwich and Jeff Barry. Billboard reviewed it 24th of April 65, and it reached 133 in Billboard's bubbling underchart. There was no UK issue of that, but it was released as track 1 on a Various Artist EP in France. Came out on Redbird Records in 1965. The title of the EP was Number 1 Hit Parade USA. Other tracks on it was the Shangri-Las, Give Us Your Blessings. On the B-side, track 1 was Jeff Barry, I Still Love You, and track 2 was Dixie Cups, Iko, Iko. There you go. Who was Sam Hawkins? Well, he was a rhythm and blues singer from New York, New York. Here's the Iceman and Sugar Baby. Turn the mic on, Bob, they can hear you. Yes. That was the Iceman here on Buzzdown Radio, and Sugar Baby, an A-side release on Samar Records from 1966, arranged by Bert Keys, produced by Johnny Brantley, and composed by Billy Lamont and Jimmy Norman. Well, The old Northern Soul scene might have been a long time ago from its original things, but of course it's still going. There are hundreds of soul events on every month all around the UK and Europe. I think there's one going on in Spain this weekend. I think it's this weekend. And of course there are still artists out there that make new music in the style of Northern Soul and crossover, and I've got one such tune for you next. Somebody who always sends me promos of their music. I always like them. I think the lady that sings them has got an absolutely fabulous voice. This one came out on the 24th of September, 3 days ago. It's Jeff Warrington. The song's called Hey Mister, featuring Tamika Jackson. Waddington here on Buzzdown Radio and Hey Mister featuring Tamika Jackson. As I say, that was released 3 days ago on the 24th of September, and it's available from online music sites. That leads us nicely into this.
Get ready to dance. Here's our modern room twosome.
Starting with Karen Diggs and You Take My Love for Granted. Karen Diggs here on Buzzdown Radio and You Take My Love for Granted, released on Nelwyn Records sometime in the 1980s. We're not 100% sure when it was. 7-inch had the same track on both sides. The 12-inch had the instrumental version on the B-side. Produced, arranged and composed by Gordon Jones. We know it's post-1983 because she was with Silver Cloud Records then, and this is a different label. Here's Billy Preston from 73. Will It Go Round in Circles? That was Billy Preston here on Buzzdown Radio and Will It Go Round in Circles? It was an A-side release in the United States on A&M Records in January 1973. It had Blackbird on the other side. I think it was probably designed to be a double A-sided record because the promo had A-side written on both sides of it. Came out January 73, produced by Billy Preston, who co-composed it with Bruce Fisher. Teeth in Bob. Bruce Fisher. Now, Will It Go Round in Circles reached number 1, but Blackbird didn't chart. And often in the States, both A's and B-sides could chart in the Billboard chart. The UK edition of that released on the same label 9th of March 1973 and reviewed in Blues and Souls magazine 106 on the 30th of March. You're listening to
Bob Hutchins on Buzztown Radio.
Buzztown Radio weather. Buzztown Radio weather. Buzztown Radio weather. Buzztown Radio weather. Buzztown.
Yeah, the weather for Leighton Buzzard and the surrounding villages. This afternoon and evening it's going to be overcast with a high of just 16 degrees centigrade. Winds coming from a southerly direction at 12 miles per hour, dropping to 8 later on. Gusts possible of up to 25, easing to 17. UV rating is medium and pollution is low. Sunset tonight is 18:49. Overnight it's going to be cloudy with the temperature at midnight 13, only dropping to 12 by 2 a.m. And then sunrise on Sunday is 06:59. It's going to be a cloudy day with a high of 18 degrees centigrade. The wind tomorrow will be coming from a west-northwesterly direction at 5 miles per hour, possible gusts of 10. Sunset tomorrow 18:46. Now for the week, Monday is going to be sunny, changing to partly cloudy by early evening, 19 degrees. That's Monday. Tuesday, sunny intervals, changing to partly cloudy by early evening, 19. Wednesday, sunny intervals, changing to cloudy by lunchtime, 19. Thursday, overcast, changing to sunny intervals by late morning, 20. And then on Friday, cloudy, changing to sunny intervals by late morning, 19 degrees centigrade. That's your weather for Leighton Buzzard and the surrounding villages.
Now, back to the music.
This is Carol Fran. I'm gonna try. Buzzdown Radio, that was Carol Fran, I'm Gonna Try. The B-side to Crying in the Chapel came out on Port Records in May of 1965, composed by Johnny Williams. Now, there's quite a few bootlegs around of that. Now, the originals have 4082 and 4083 in the dead wax of those records, whereas the bootlegs only show 3000 A and B. No UK issue. Who was Carol Fran? Well, her real name was Carol Martin. She was born 23rd of October 1933 in Lafayette, Louisiana. She was a soul blues singer, pianist and songwriter, and best known for her string of single releases in the 50s and 60s, and later her musical association with husband Clarence Holliman. Here's Darryl Stewart, Name It and Claim It. That was Darryl Stewart here on Soul on Saturday with Name It and Claim It. It was the B-side to Cross My Heart, released on the Wand label in October of 1969. Produced by Tony Camillo, Ray DeRouge, Billy Terrell and Anthony Bongiovi. Arranged by Tony Camillo, it was composed by Billy Terrell and Ray DeRouge. You're listening to
Serving Leighton Buzzard, Dunstable and the surrounding villages. This is Buzztown Radio.
And this is Mel Torme, Coming Home Baby.
I'm coming home, baby. I'm coming home.
That was Mel Torme here on Buzztown Radio with Coming Home Baby, an A-side release on Atlantic Records from October 1962. Yes, a long time ago. It was arranged by Klaus Ogerman, and the backing vocals were, although uncredited, provided by the Cookies. Composer was Ben Tucker and Bob Durra, and the UK edition of that came out on London Records on the 14th of December 1962 and did quite well over here. It reached number 13 on the 30th of January, having entered the chart on the 9th of January at number 44, and final placing of 37 on the 27th of February. So 8 weeks in the charts in total, 3 of which were in the top 20 and 7 in the top 40. This is Buzztown Radio. Up next, June Adams, River. Keep moving. 10 minutes to 3 here on Buzztown Radio. That was June Adams and River Keep Moving. The B-side to Heavenly Father, released on Roulette Records in April of 1966. Arranged by Horace Ott, it was produced and composed by Teddy Van. Here in the UK, River Keep Moving was the A-side, and it was released by King Records the same year.
Ain't no place like Motown. Listen while we play.
When I first laid eyes on you,
There you go, that was the first of our two Motown tunes, and it was the Contours with Searching for a Girl, which was actually the B-side to First I Look at the Purse, released on Gordy Records 23rd of June 1965, produced and composed by Clarence Paul. The UK edition on Tamla Motown Records came out 17th of September 1965. This is the Velvelettes. Let Me Live. No, Let Love Live. In brackets, a little bit longer. That was the Velvelettes there, track 13 on a CD from Motown called The Very Best of the Velvelettes. Let Love Live, in brackets, a little bit longer. CD was released 23rd of March 1999. The song itself recorded in August 1965. This is Tamiko Jones, song called Pearl. Tamiko Jones and Pearl, B-side Don't Go Breaking My Heart, released on December Records in December 1967. This is Buzztown Radio. I'm Bob Hutchins. Welcome along. Soul on Saturday. This is the Tartans with Caddo Strings. It's called Nothing But Love.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's another hour of great soul music on Buzztown Radio with Bob H.
Bob Hutchins on Buzztown Radio.
Well, welcome back to hour 2 of Soul on Saturday here on Buzztown Radio. I'm Bob Hutchins. I've got another hour of great soul music for you. Kicking off with Arlene Harmon and Out of the Picture. Buzztown Radio, that was Arlene Harmon and Out of the Picture, an A-side release on Liberty Records from September 1965, produced by Snuff Garrett. It was arranged by Leon Russell and composed by Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart. On the B-side, it was labelled up as The Big Beats, vocal solo by Arlene Harmon, and Work Song. Yes, remember that? Work Song. Who was Arlene? Well, he was an American keyboard player and band leader. Born in 1945, lost him in 2014, and he married Gail Harris in 1967. This is Barbara Favourite, to be precise. Barbara Favourite and Two-Way Radio, which was the B-side to Then I'll Be True, which came out on Backbeat Records in 1967, composed by Kay McKinley. No UK issue of that one.
Bob Hutchins on Buzztown Radio.
Whilst there was no UK issue of the last one, this next one, an American artist. Now this 7-inch single was only released in the UK. D. Irwin here on Buzztown Radio, and it's Only a Paper Moon, which was the B-side to You've Got Personality, released on Colpix Records 28th of August 1964, arranged by Bob Leeper, composed by Billy Rose, E.Y. Harburg and Harold Arlen. As I say, no US issue of either side of that record on a 7-inch. Buzztown Radio, here's the ad-libs, Neighbour Neighbour. Go, that was the Ad-Libs there, and Neighbour Neighbour on Interphon Records from May of 1965. Producer was Randy Wood, composed by Alton Valliere. You're listening to
Buzztown Radio.
Get ready to dance. Here's our modern room twosome.
Ebony Rhythm Funk Campaign. How's your wife? In brackets, and my child.
What's that? Once upon a time, she was mine.
There you go, Ebony Rhythm Funk Campaign, and How's Your Wife? In brackets, and my child. Came out on Innovation 2 Records in February of 1975. Arranged by the group themselves, it was produced by Tom 84, who was Tom Washington, and composed by Robert Thompson, Henry Miles, John R. Jackson, and Anthony Roberts. UK edition of that was brought out by EMI International on the 1st of August 1975. I'd like to say good afternoon to Dave Bransgrove down in Newquay. Also, good morning to Michael Cortorano in Cleveland, Ohio. Our second tune from the Modern Room. This is Betty Wright and her cover of Open the Door to Your Heart. Yeah, I must admit, that's my favourite cover of that Daryl Banks classic. I always say if you're going to do a cover, then you need to make it your own. And I think definitely Betty made it her own. Open Your Door to Your Heart was track one. Excuse me a minute, got a terrible cold here. That was track one from her album Explosion, released by Alston Records in 1976, composed, of course, by the man that did the original Daryl Banks. And the UK edition of that album was also released on RCA Records in 1976. Now, there is a single version of it, only released in one country as far as I could see. Italy, of all places. It was actually the A-side of a 7-inch single over there with Don't Forget to Say I Love You on the B-side. It was part of RCA's Soul Explosion series in Italy. However, they did get the composer wrong, because on the label it says Betty Crutcher, Homer Banks and Raymond Jackson. Yes, well, never mind, at least they released it as a 7-inch. Can't believe it didn't get released in the States or here as a single. You're listening to
Great Soul every Saturday on Buzztown Radio.
Buzztown Radio weather.
Yes, your weather forecast for Leighton Buzzard and the surrounding areas. This afternoon and into the evening, it will be overcast with a high of 16 degrees centigrade. Wind coming from a southerly direction at 12 miles per hour, dropping later to just 8. There is a possibility of gusts of 25 miles per hour, easing to 17 as we go into the evening. The UV is medium and pollution low. Sunset tonight is 18:49. Tonight, overnight, it will be cloudy. Temperature at midnight will be 13, dropping to 12 by 2 a.m. Sunrise is at 06:59. A cloudy day on Sunday with a high of 18 degrees centigrade. The wind has changed to a west-northwesterly direction of 5 miles per hour with possible gusts of 10. Sunset tomorrow is 18:46. Into the week, Monday, sunny, changing to partly cloudy by early evening, 19 degrees. Exactly the same on Tuesday. But then on Wednesday, sunny intervals, changing to cloudy by lunchtime, 19 degrees centigrade. Thursday, overcast, changing to sunny intervals by late morning, 20 degrees centigrade. And then Friday, cloudy, changing to sunny intervals by late morning, 19. That's your weather for Leighton Buzzard and the surrounding areas.
Now, back to the music.
Billy Watkins and Just For You, in brackets Stone Fox, A-side on Kent Records from November 1964, composed by Billy himself. It was reissued again in 1966 on the Chartmaker label. So for those of you on OVO, it's the Kent label that you need to buy. Buzztown Radio, up next, Lula Reed with Mike Akerpoff and orchestra, Walk On By Me. Fabulous bit of R&B there, and Lula Reed with Mike Akerpoff and orchestra, Walk On By Me, released on Tangerine Records in September 1965, composed by Lula herself. Billboard magazine reviewed it on the 9th of October. There was no UK edition of that. Lula Reed's real name was Lula Marietta McClelland. She was born March 21st, 1926 in Mingo Junction, Jefferson County, Ohio. And we sadly lost her at the age of 82 on the 21st of June in Detroit, Michigan. 21st of June 2008, that was. She was active between 1951 and 1967, Tangerine being the last of 4 labels that she recorded on. On your radio, you're listening to
Buzztown Radio.
Here's the Imperial CS. Was it the Imperial Seas? Yes. Oh dear, never mind. Someone tell her. Someone tell me. That was the Imperial Seas here on Buzztown Radio, and Someone Tell Her. It was an A-side release on Phil LA of Soul. It came out on the 24th of November 1967. Produced by Earl Marable and composed by band member Marvin Jordan. Copyrighted on the 18th of December. One more tune and then we've got our Motown double play. This is The Innocent Bystanders and Frantic Escape. There's a nice instrumental for you, The Innocent Bystanders and Frantic Escape, which was released on Pameline Records in 1968. Produced and arranged by instrumentalist Richard Popcorn Wiley, who also co-composed it with Tony Hester. It was then reissued again in 1970 in the September of that year on Atlantic Records. Well, the Innocent Bystanders were led by Richard Popcorn Wiley. Can't really tell you much about them. I'm guessing they're probably Pameline's studio band, really. Nothing more than that. You're listening to
Serving Leighton, Buzzard, Dunstable, and the surrounding villages. This is Buzztown Radio.
Ain't no place like Motown. Listen while we play.
2 tunes from Motown, starting with this one from The Temptations, I'm Doing It All. There you go, first of our Motown double play, The Temptations and I'm Doing It All, which was track 11 on CD 2 from a album that came out by Motown called The Temptations, Emperors of Soul, released on the 20th of September 1994. It's a CD box set. The composer of the tune was Smokey Robinson and Cornelius Grant. Now, it was recorded in March and June 1966 for the Temptations album Lot of Soul, but it was one of those tracks that didn't actually make the album in the end. Here's the second of our Motown artists, the very beautiful late great Tammy Terrell. I Gotta Find a Way to Get Back to You. Tammy Terrell and the solo version of I Gotta Find a Way to Get You Back. Track 17 on an album called The Essential Collection from Tammy Terrell, released by Spectrum Music, 16th of July 2001. You're listening to
Bob Hutchins, Soul on Saturday. Great soul music live on Buzztown Radio. Buzztown Radio, Buzztown Radio, Buzztown Radio.
Here's Lou Courtney and Trying to Find My Woman. It's 3:45 in the afternoon here on Soul on Saturday. That was Lou Courtney and Trying to Find My Woman, released on Buddha Records in June of 1969. The B-side to Let Me Turn You On, arranged and composed by Lou Courtney. Now, his birth name was Louis Russell Peaks, American soul singer, songwriter and record producer. He was also a former member of the Fifth Dimension. He was born 15th of August 1943 in Buffalo, New York, and he passed away in New York City 25th of June 2021. Up next, a singer I do love a lot. Yes, Joe Tex is his name, and I Wanna Be Free. Joe Tex, I Wanna Be Free, released on Dial Records in November 1963, composed by Joe himself. You're listening to Buzztown Radio. Coming up later on at 6 o'clock, we've got Solid Gold 60s with Jeff Dorset, and then between 8 o'clock and midnight tonight, Sounds of Jamaica Oldie Show with DJ Bobby H. On your radio, you're listening to This is Diamonds and Pearls. No, it's not. Well, it is. That's the title. The artist, Universals. Universals there, and Diamonds and Pearls here on Buzztown Radio. It was released as the A-side on Cooking Records out of Newark, New Jersey in February of 1969. Composed by Peter Hodnett, Lily Hodnett, Lewis Hodnett and James Hodnett. They were all members of the band. Copyrighted on the 24th of February 1969. The B-side just had the studio band playing the instrumental version. Here's the Tiaras, Foolish Girl. Buzztown Radio, that was the Tiaras there, Foolish Girl, released on Op Art Records out of Canada in 1967, arranged by Art Snyder and composed by Al Rain.
Bob Hutchins, Soul on Saturday. Great soul music live on Buzztown Radio. Buzztown Radio, Buzztown Radio, Buzztown Radio.
So this will be our final record of the afternoon. It's Sugar Boy Williams, Little Girl. So our final record of the afternoon, Sugar Boy Williams and Little Girl, B-side to 5 Long Years, released on Herald Records in October 1960, composed by Leon Williams, who was also known as Jody Williams as well. So sadly, that's the end of another Bob's Soul on Saturday. Yes, I'll be back with you next Saturday between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock to do it all over again. Just a reminder, here on Buzztown Radio, our next show, 6 p.m, Solid Gold 60s with veteran DJ Jeff Dorset. And then at 8 o'clock, Sounds of Jamaica Oldie Show with DJ Bobby H. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Soul on Saturday was a Bob Hutchins radio production for Buzztown Radio.